Hi everyone, welcome to this lesson series on technique and expression. I've selected 3 pieces by Francisco Tárrega, which I believe everyone should learn. They have a lot of technical aspects to them, but crucially also the full gamut of expressive playing. So from vibrato, tone color, dynamics, separating out textures, highlighting melody notes. So a lot of opportunity for us to develop our expressive playing. I think at the end of the day, we all want to be able to convey emotion. In the first lesson of this series, we're going to be taking a look at Etude in E minor. For tabs, notation, the PDFs that go along with the lessons, please head over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/altguitar. You'll also find backing tracks, exclusive lessons, a lot of other content. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. And yeah, let's get started. Etude in E minor uses a fixed arpeggio pattern that sounds like this. So it's a triplet, the ring finger, middle, and index. Ring, middle, index. And we're going to be repeating that pattern throughout this piece. And actually there are other pieces that use this pattern, one other being the famous Spanish Romance. And this is a very effective texture, because if you play that first note a little bit louder than the rest, rather than articulating all 3 at the same level, so you get this illusion that we have 2 things going on, the melody being the first string, and the accompaniment, which are the other 2 strings. And it's quite fun to experiment, to improvise a melody on the first string and then playing the other 2 strings open like this. And experiment exaggerating that first string loud and the other 2 very quiet. You really get a sense of that separation, that texture where we have the foreground and the background. And because the arpeggio pattern is fixed, the melody note is always on that first string. And that allows us to work on the phrasing. We can vary the intensity of that melody. Sometimes play a little bit louder, sometimes play a little bit quieter. So we can create a really dynamic and work on the expression. In terms of the form, we have 2 sections to work with, and I marked them as A and B in the score. The A section goes like this. So the right hand keeps this fixed pattern, which is the triplets. We're working with the 3/4 time signature here. So we're going to repeat that pattern 3 times each bar. So like this, 1, 2, 3. Now every first beat of each bar, we're going to also play the bass. So the thumb this time goes on the 6th string, and we're going to pluck that together with the ring finger on the 1st string. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to play that pretty much all the way through, except for at the end we have a chord. So now if I play the first 4 bars slowly, it sounds like this. Now before we put the left and the right hand together, let's have a look at the chord shapes that we're doing with the left hand. So we begin with an E minor, so it's open E, G, B, and E. Then another E minor, but this time with a G on the 1st string, fret 3. Then A minor 7, so keep that 4th finger on the third fret, and then add finger 1 on the C, string 2, fret 1, and finger 2 on the A, string 3, fret 2. And then the bass goes down to the 5th string, A minor 7, and then this guy here is going to go down to the F sharp. So the G moves to the F sharp. You can either slide your finger 4 back to play the A minor 6, or you can use your third finger. It's kind of like a D7 shape, but the bass is on the A string. Okay, so A minor 7, keep everything apart from that G, which moves to the F sharp. If you use your fourth finger, the advantage is that the next shape you can just glide on the first string. First string you go up to the 5th fret. Okay, the next shape is a B7. Now this is a bar, so it's a 5-string bar. So finger 1 starts on the B, which is 2nd fret of string 5. I'm going to bar that, and then we're going to need the 3rd string, which is on the 2nd fret of the bar. Then finger 3 plays the D sharp, string 2, fret 4. And then finger 4 plays the A, string 1, fret 5. So from that A minor 6, you glide that 4th finger to the 5th fret, and then put the rest of the B7 chord. And then we're going to keep the bar, lift off your finger 4, and put your 2nd finger on the G. So from here, this finger here goes to the G, and then we're going to release that, and then the last shape of these 4 bars is an E minor with the 4th finger. Instead of being on the G, it's going to go to the B on the 7th fret. So to recap, we have E minor, then add your 4th finger on the 3rd fret of string 1, E minor again, then A minor 7, so move your thumb to the 5th string bass, add fingers 1 and 2, then push your finger 4 back 1 fret, and A minor 6. So now we're going to glide with finger 4 to the 5th fret, and then put the bar and finger 3 on the D sharp, string 2, fret 4. Then put your finger 2 on the G, so 3rd fret of string 1, release your 4th finger, and let go of finger 2, and the E minor with the 4th finger on the 7th fret. Okay, so all we got to do now is add the arpeggio, remembering that with the bass we play, the thumb plays the bass on every first beat of each bar. Now bear in mind that some chords we're going to play the arpeggio pattern once, others are going to last for longer. We're going to begin with E minor, so bass on the 6th string, and this is just once. Okay, then the G, so finger 4 moves to the 3rd fret of string 1, and play this twice without the bass. Once more. Then put the rest of the A minor 7 chord, so finger 2 on the A, finger 1 on the C, and the bass moves to the 5th string. We're going to play this once. Then move your finger 4 back to the F sharp, or use finger 3 if you want. And then we're going to play this twice without the bass. Okay, so far we have then glide your 4th finger up to the 5th fret and put the rest of the B7 chord. The bass is still on the 5th string. We're going to play this once. Then put your 2nd finger on the G of string 1. Lift your finger 4. Play this once as well without the bass. Let go of finger 2. Play it once more. Okay, so this was first with the bass. Then finger 4 moves to the 7th fret, and we're going to play the 6th string as the bass, and then we're going to repeat this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Played slowly, this sounds like this. Let's briefly talk about this B7 chord shape because it can be a little bit tricky to find it first. So the first thing to do is to make sure that the bar, that your finger 1 is parallel to the fret, to the metal bit, and that you're really close to it, really right up against that fret, but not over the metal line and also not here. Okay, so it's really crucial to find the spot. So here's my fingers really close to the fret. If I go a little bit over, then the strings don't sound clean anymore. So really snug up against the fret. Okay. Then the other thing is to find the position vertically. Okay, so sometimes having a higher position is easier because you're concentrating the strength, the power here on the lower part of the finger, which is where we need the strings to be pressed. Okay, so just experiment like that, because depending on where the knuckles are in relation to the strings, it really helps moving a little bit so that you're not in a kind of an awkward position where the knuckle is pressing on the string. I find that most people can do the bar okay, and where they struggle is where you have to add that stretch with finger 4. So this is fine, but then as soon as you have to add more fingers, it makes it a lot harder. So try to get that stretch by adding a little swivel, little torque on finger 1, like that. See how my arm is swiveling a little bit, so that you transfer a little bit of the weight to that finger. And you don't have to have that finger like so stretched out like this. You can have it in the middle of the fret. That's going to still sound, the first string is okay to have, to fret kind of in the middle of the fret. So just add a little bit of torque there. Now you'll find that in order to get that chord sounding clean, finger 1 will have to add more pressure than you would normally do if you're just playing one single note. But really look for that strength in your arm, not with the thumb. Don't squeeze. Don't use the squeeze to power that chord. Really, rather use the weight of the arm, gravity, plus the strength in your left arm, and you'll find that the right arm has to compensate a little bit, pushing on the body of the guitar, in that way you use both arms to power the bar chord rather than relying on the thumb. So far we learned the first 4 bars of the A section, and actually the next 4 bars are pretty much the same except for the last bar, where instead of playing that E minor up here, we're just going to play it like this. It ends on an E minor chord. So we're going to play E, 6th string and 1st string together, and then an E minor triad, G, B, E, which is the same as the open strings. So you've got an option there. Either go like this, or I quite like playing this chord up here because then it means that the E string, the high E, is ringing. And this is just an accompaniment, like an answer, an echo. Okay, so this is G, so it's 4th string, fret 5, then string 3, fret 4, and string 2, fret 5. Fingers 2, 1, and 3. Okay, so if you want to fret it like that, then this, otherwise all open. So the last 4 bars of the A section are going to sound like this. And the counting here is 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to repeat the A section before going to the B section. Now, I mentioned in the introduction that we're going to detach the textures so that we have a melody and the accompaniment. So we do that by playing with the ring finger a little bit louder than the other 2 fingers, and make sure that there's weight to the sound, that the sound is, that apart from it being loud, that it's nice and warm and not brittle. So you really have to find the place where the nail can really run through the string, so there's a lot of contact. I find that just moving the finger a little bit, just articulating a little bit like that, I get a really nice and warm tone. Now the last thing to do before we go into the B section is to isolate the melody so we can add a little bit of dynamics and make this really expressive. So if I play the melody on its own, just the ring finger sounds like this. So these are every quarter note in each bar. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now there's a really beautiful moment when we play that G to the F sharp. And the way that I wanted to articulate, the way that I wanted to phrase this is play the G. That's going to be the climax of that beginning phrase. That's going to be the loudest moment. So we're going to start quiet, gradually get louder. By the time we get to the third G, that's the loudest, and we resolve by playing that F sharp really quietly. Have a listen to how that sounds nice. So this is really expressive. And then we're going to add another crescendo here towards that B. And then a decrescendo. So now everything together sounds like this. This brings us to the B section, and it sounds like this. So again, we have 8 bars to work with, and we can cut it into 2 parts of 4 bars each. You'll notice that the last section, the last 4 bars of the B section are exactly the same as the last 4 bars of the A section, except for that harmonic at the end. So instead of having this, which we played it in the A section, we have... but the rest is exactly the same. So really what we have to do is work with the first 4 bars, and then we have the entire piece. So let's begin by looking at the left-hand shapes. To start with, we have 3 E minor chords. So all 3 we have played before. Open, finger 4 plays the G, and move it up to the 7th fret. All 3 shapes are E minor chords. Then we have 3 A minor shapes. So keep your 4th finger on the B, 7th fret of string 1, and then put a half bar, a 3-string bar at the 5th fret. Okay, then the bass is going to move to the 5th string, to the A string. And this is A minor, add 9, because this is a 9th. The B is the 9th of the chord. Okay, and then lift it off. A minor, and A minor again. The finger 4 moves to the 8th fret. So 3 A minor shapes, A minor add 9, A minor, and A minor. Then we have 3 D7 shapes. Glide your finger 4 down to the 2nd fret, to the F sharp, and put finger 1 on the C and finger 2 on the A. Okay, so strings 2 and 3. And the bass is going to play the D, the open 4th string. So this is a D7. We normally play it like this with the 3rd finger, but here, because of where the melody is going to be played next, we're going to use finger 4 instead of finger 3. Okay, so D7, and move it 1 fret forward, just that 4th finger. So this is a D7 sus. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glide with fingers 1 and 4, 2 frets forward. Okay, so from here, we're going to move to fret 3 and fret 5, and add finger 3 on the 5th fret of string 3, which is a C, still a D bass. Okay, so we have so D7, D7 sus, and another D7. This chord here doesn't have the 3rd of the chord, but that would be the full shape, but we still count this as a D7. And then to end, we have 3 G major shapes. So leave finger 4 where it is, which is an A, 5th fret of string 1, and then move your finger 1 to the bass G, 3rd fret of string 6. So we're going to play that, plus the open G and B. So it's... And then finger 2 goes down to the G. And then to end, we're going to glide it to the 7th fret and play the open G, open B, and the B. So 3 G major shapes, okay? G at 9, G, and a G. So we have 3 minor shapes, 3 A minor shapes, so A minor at 9, and 2 A minor, 3 D7 shapes, glide with your 4th finger, move it up to the 3rd fret, and then glide fingers 1 and 4 up 2 frets, and add finger 3 on the 5th fret of string 3, and then keep finger 4 there, play the G on the 3rd fret of string 6, G at 9, G, and then glide it up to the 7th fret. Let's now add the arpeggio pattern. So we begin with both E's open. Add your 4th finger to the 3rd fret of string 1 and glide it up to the 7th fret. Now put down your half bar at the 5th fret plus the open A. We're going to play the open A and the ring finger together. Let go of finger 4. Now place it at the 8th fret. Now we're going to glide that back down to the 2nd fret, the F sharp on string 1. Play it together with the open D, string 4. Then place finger 1 on the C, finger 2 on the A. Okay, so you have time to assemble that chord. Now move your 4th finger up to the G. Now we're going to glide both fingers 1 and 4. And add your finger 3 on the C, fret 5, string 3. So this was... Now at this point we're going to let go everything apart from finger 4 and put finger 1 on the G, bass G, 3rd fret, string 6. Play together with the ring finger. Move your finger 2 to the 3rd fret of string 1 and glide it up to the 7th fret to end. So all together we have Then the last 4 bars of the B section are exactly the same as the last 4 bars of the A section. Except for the last chord, which is a harmonic at the 12th fret. So the way that we're going to play that harmonic at the end, I recommend using your finger 3. Place it over the metal line, over the fret, not as if you were going to actually fret it, play it, which is right before the fret, but exactly over the fret, okay? Exactly over the line. And we're not going to press on the strings. We're not going to fret the notes. We simply lightly touch. And then once you touch with your 3rd finger, pluck the strings 3, 2, and 1. and then let go with the left hand. Okay, if you move your right hand a little bit closer to the bridge where the strings are a little tighter, you get a nicer, more projected sound. If you're not getting the harmonic sound, you need to make sure that you move your third finger over the metal line, okay, exactly above. And once you pluck, let go. Don't hold your finger over the strings because it will dampen the sound. Really let go once you pluck. So there's a slight delay between the right and the left hand. Just like in the A section, let's work a little dynamics into the phrasing. Let's add a little bit of crescendo and then empty some of that tension in order to make a sound, in order for the melodies to sound more expressive and not ordinary. So we're going to work a little crescendo, a little gradually getting louder, and then we're going to release some of that volume, release some of that tension. Okay, so start quiet, gradually get louder. By the time we get to that repeated B, that's the loudest note, and then we release into a quiet note. So it's loud and quiet. The last note of that phrase, the C, can be the same volume as that A. So notice here that that's the loudest note. You can really emphasize that moment and release. The next phrase is the same. So the F sharp starts quiet, gradually gets louder. By the time we repeat that A, that's the loudest note, and we release here. The B can be a little bit quieter than that G, or the same volume. So we've got and then the rest is the same as we did for the A section. Now, one last thing you can add to really make this sound special is some vibrato. Now, whenever we're playing open strings and just playing the melody on the first string, it's quite easy to add vibrato. Just let go of your thumb on the back of the neck. Make sure that that's nice and free. You can just be there, kind of holding the balance, but the vibrato really comes from the arm. The pivot is the elbow. Okay, so it's not the hand. We're not moving the wrist like this. It's really just this. So a couple of places where you might want to add vibrato are whenever we're playing in this shape here, the E minor at the 7th fret with either finger 4 or finger 2. So in the A section is this moment here. If you find it hard to add the vibrato with finger 4, then just play finger 2. Finger 2 is the easiest. Just make sure that the pivot is really your elbow, that you're going like this from the elbow and not the hand, not trying to move the wrist, fixing. The arm really has to be really loose. That's it for this lesson. I hope this was useful in helping you develop a more expressive playing. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at Lagrima, which is the second piece in this series. And apart from, still playing the vibrato, the dynamics, the phrasing, we're going to be also taking a look at a couple of positions where we can play the occasional rest stroke in order to highlight a note, in order to bring out, to pinpoint a note where we want to make it sound really special. So. And that's a really fun piece to work on the occasional rest stroke, dropping in a couple of places.